Welcome back, everybody. My name is Dragagon, and this is Gregtech New Horizons. So, we left off the last episode, and I had just finished upgrading my EBF to use EV power. Got an increase in speed for my stainless, which is what I will be doing in the background of a lot of this video. However, the other thing I wanted to do is I want to be able to cook up this tungsten steel dust, and in order to do so I need to actually have an EV power on my on this guy right here, my vacuum freezer. So what that means is that I built the parts already just a bit earlier in order to do that. Now I also have the parts here to make the HV as well, because I need an HV for my for my oil cracker, and it will complete the quest for my oil cracker. It's the last piece I need for this guy. There we go. There's those two going in, and then I just need these last two pieces here. So we go with that, and that, and we pull out this HV. And we should get a nice little ding here. There we go. Let's get cracking. That is the last of the stuff I needed in order to get this guy. Now, I only have one HV energy hatch, and the reason for that is because over here on my vacuum freezer, I already have an HV energy hatch. So I'm going to get out my wrench, and I will probably need my wire cutters as well. We'll see how this works. Hop down here. There's our power setup. Yeah, I definitely need my wire cutters because I'm going to have to take this guy off and then wrench all three of these guys. And then I'm going to put them down in order. So let's see here. So this one will be taking 128 in and outputting 32 there. Same with my medium. And then same thing with my high voltage. And then I need to take this guy out, and we're going to wrench this energy hatch. There we go. And then we're going to slap in this EV energy hatch right down there. Take these two guys, plop them in like that, and then hook that in like that. So there we go. Resupplied power to my let's see here, what is this guy? This is my implosion compressor, and now we have EV power supplied to the vacuum freezer. So, vacuum freezer has been upgraded. I can now nuke the tungsten steel in this guy, and then I can take and get him output properly down here. That little flash was some nichrome I was working on earlier. I didn't look at it when I looked at the output and just saw that I had all of my nichrome. Now the reason for the nichrome is, of course, because I'm going to use 16 nichrome along with all of this tungsten steel in order to upgrade to the tungsten steel coil blocks. I already have the mica insulator sheets here and here ready for that process, but I need to get through this thing first. So let me take a quick look. That one's all done. I get 2 loot bags, and I can either get steam or hydrogen universal cells. We'll go ahead and go with the steam. Is that going to burn me? I hope not. Just in case, though, we'll stick it right there. There we go. Now I no longer need either of those two, and that thing is full. So there's one energy hatch. Where's my other one? There it is. So there are my 2 energy hatches. This is the 24 output. 2 of those will be used in the oil crackers, and then the other 21 will be used in the other distillation towers I've got going on. Input hatches, I need 1, 2 here, and then I've got 2 HV ones there, and then the other 3 will be for the other 3 distillation towers. 2 maintenance hatches for that guy, the other 3 for those. output buses. Did I need 5 output buses? I think I may have only needed 3 output buses because I already have the other 2 over there. Interesting. I may have made too many. That's alright. Output buses are useful. I can use them for other multi-blocks as we get stuff built. So having 2 extra LV output buses, I could probably use them on 2 more EBFs if I were making some more EBFs. I need to eventually, just not right now. Alright, so there we go. With that done, I am going to go ahead and continue working on smelting down all of this stainless steel, work on smelting down this tungsten steel, and I'll bring you guys back in here once I'm a little bit closer to getting my tungsten steel coil blocks done. So we'll see you in a bit. Alright, I went ahead and took the time to make the tungsten steel coil blocks. Used up all of the mica insulator I had prepared, and there are my old nichrome coil blocks, so there it is. I went ahead and right-clicked it with my, whatever that thing is called. What is that thing called? Portable scanner. There we go. And you can see that right down here, 4701 Kelvin is the new heat capacity running at EV power. So we are looking pretty good. I also went ahead and stuck a high voltage transformer here to allow me to process this turbo centrifuge and be able to get out the products again. I started running low on the tungstate. When you only get, 9 per stack of tungsten, even though it doubles when you mix it with steel for the tungsten steel, it's still fairly expensive. I also found out why these guys charge these batteries so slowly. This is an MV line right here. It's a 4 times MV line, but it's still only an MV line. If I wanted to charge those things as fast as possible, I'd want to slap it on right here so that it can actually charge at a full amp of EV power there. But since I'm not, I'm just kind of stuck with it as fast as it goes between those 2 guys there. But I had enough power, I was able to knock it out, and now all that's left is to go ahead and smelt up the rest of this stainless so that I can build and set up my 5 distillery towers, and then right behind it the pair of oil crackers for the refinery gas and the naphtha. And then from there, I can start looking at making even more stuff. Realistically, though, the next project that I should probably focus on, if I don't focus on making the HSSG coils, because those I can make immediately at this point, would probably be something along the lines of going ahead and focusing on the space race. Go ahead and knock out the rest of the Tier 2 schematic, and then look at the recycling, and then from there it'll pick up with all the pieces and parts of the Tier 2 rocket. That's probably my next best thing to go after, so that I can knock out these quests down here, and in doing so I can also pick up the uranium, this one right here, the uranium ores, and with the uranium get to the radon, which will let me get to the quantum eye. If it's not going to be that, the other next thing that I would want to look at making is the chemical reactors to make the bisphenol A and the epichlorohydrin in order to start getting to the epoxid boards, because I'd be willing to bet that right up in here after the epoxid board is the next tier of chips, which are going to be looking at those LUV chips. If I look at circuits, it would be something along the lines of this guy. I think it's this one right here. No, it can't be that one. That's an elite circuit board. It's got to be this. No, that's also not it. It's probably the one that comes from this, though. So if I go over here to the circuit assembler, yeah, this guy right here, the nano processor mainframe, which comes from the Elite Nano computer. Interesting that I can use that for that. But anyway, those come from the EV version, which you can see right here, this advanced circuit board. That epoxy circuit board is what I am going to look at making next. It's going to take quite a bit of gold, so I may also need to ramp up making more of the, what is that stuff called? Magnetite, and converting it over to gold using the Aurelia leaves. So yeah, that would be a couple of the next steps, is just basically knocking out these two guys, epichlorohydrin, bisphenol A, go to epoxid, and otherwise working on that tier 2 rocket so that I can get over here with the radon and complete the rest of this quest line and unlock this guy right here, tier 6, with the IV stuff. So yeah, I've got my work cut out for me. I will probably go ahead and update this guy. One other thing that I'd like to do is, if I get to Mars and I can plant down a miner, it will be nice because I can get some of the small titanium ores, and that will get the pure titanium. And oddly enough, pure titanium I can now work in my EBF now that I've got this nice EV power setup here, and then having those tungsten steel coils along with that EV input hatch. So that is where I'm headed next. I'm not sure how long this video is. I'll have to check and see. I might bring you guys back in if I've got a couple more LCRs set up for the epoxid stuff, and otherwise I will see you in a bit. Apparently I have plenty of time left, so I decided to set up an LCR. One of the things I had to do was I had to come over here and upgrade this guy from just an HV transformer to an HV high amp transformer. I guess I didn't really have to, but I did, because I'm going to be running the HV power around probably to more than one of these LCRs. Now, this guy right here, I've got him set up. He is going to do, or at least I'm going to attempt to do, silicon rubber and PTFE in here. If I've planned this out correctly, I should be able to do both of them. I've already taken care of all the maintenance. I just haven't right-clicked it yet. I've got water. I've got a circuit 24. I've got some chlorine, some methane, and some oxygen in there. And then I have these two guys locked down. I have this output hatch locked down, and then I've got these two output hatches back here not locked down. Now, I'm going to right-click this thing, and hopefully it will not turn on. I shouldn't have anything that can interact between these guys, given the fact that I've got a circuit of 24 in there. Good deal. Now, the one thing I should be able to do is drop in one of these guys and have it actually turn on. It will take its 6 seconds to process this. And there we go. So I should have, there we go, diluted hydrochloric acid and hydrochloric acid in there. And then over here, I should get, yeah, there's that 3. Now I was hoping to, and maybe I need to wrench this then, or not wrench it, but screwdriver it. This is an output bus. I was expecting the output bus to be able to accept from here. Maybe I need to do this? Yeah, that's better. All right, so I guess I do have to have them facing. The idea is that the output bus will put into this input bus here. I can still click on it from the outside to drop in any silicon dust, but this will get me the polydimethylsiloxane pulp. Wow, what a long word just to mean the pre-processed silicon rubber. All I need after that is sulfur. Once I have 3 of those guys, I would drop it in there, and I should get an output of silicon rubber. That would be very handy. All right, so with that stuff done, the next step is to go ahead and actually do that 2 more times. So 1, 2. Get those guys to process those. And while that is doing that, I am going to come over here and I'm going to get some silicon. Sorry, not silicon, sulfur. I have some up here. There we go. There's some sulfur dust. Now, what I'd like to do is actually to come in and make this chloromethane. Now that I've got chlorine and methane being produced, it wants me to make 42 of those. So I actually need, like, what is it that I need for this? I need 42 methane and 2 times 42 chlorine. So that's going to be fun. And a circuit 1. All right. Let me grab my circuit 1. And then I am going to need a stack of empty cells, because I need 42 of these guys, and then 42 times 2 of the chlorine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. Let's go ahead and just get this knocked out real quick, mainly because I'd like to run that thing and have it give me everything I need so that I don't have to do stuff like, shoot, what's it called? I don't have to do stuff like craft it after the fact in order to knock out this quest. So I can take that out. I can slap those in. I can put this in there. Let me go ahead and rearrange some stuff here. There's some more rutile. Those are for the other LCRs I'm eventually going to make. Silicon I'm done with for right this second. There's 2 more. Oh, that's 2 stacks of silver, not stainless. And I don't need that. All right. Let's go ahead and grab my chlorine. There's my first batch of chlorine. And I'm going to have to run and go figure out where I last left my fluid transposers. They're probably down inside the clean room. I'll get to that in just a minute, though. All right. There we are. Yep, there they are. All right. Let's take and put these guys in place. No, not that. Put it there. That's the other thing I've been doing. I started making the MV input and output hatches and buses because with the upgraded EBF, it's now easier for me to just make aluminum than it is to make steel because I don't have to go through the process of also making iron. So that has been helpful. Let's go ahead and get that going. Get this guy filled up. There we go. And just let this guy go. It also gets me some hydrochloric acid. I think I can use that somewhere else for something else I'm going to need. I can't think of it right now. Otherwise, well, I doubt I can drop it into that output bus. That'd be fun. Drop it into the output bus and never have to worry about it. What the heck? How would I be 900 chlorine shy? How on earth can I be 900 chlorine shy on that? That is really strange. Alright, I guess I'm going to need to go get one more thing of chlorine. No, 2 more things of chlorine. 1, 2. That was really strange. It should not have done that, but it did, so there we go. There is the chloromethane. Now that chloromethane is done, it wants that plus silicon dust. Wow, imagine that. Here we go. chloromethane, silicon dust. And then it wants the dimethyl dichlorosilane. So in order to make that, it's just another slap into a chemical reactor, and I can get that out. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah. We'll go ahead and do that real quick. We may as well go ahead and let this occur just because this will make more of the pulp, and then I can just slap the pulp into that output bus and have it just make more of the silicon rubber along with putting some sulfur into it. So that shouldn't be bad. All right, I'm going to let that run. I am going to take this hydrochloric acid and put a bunch of it into this tank. That right there is just my holding tank for right now. I'm not sure exactly what I plan on doing with it. This 15 hydrochloric acid, however, I could dump it into here and just have a bunch of hydrochloric acid that'll run through this thing normally. In order to make the iron 3 chloride. I don't need a whole bunch of holding in there because the hydrochloric acid basically runs itself, so to speak. But yeah, I might be able to do something along those lines. All right, silver back into there. I did that so that I could make the 16s for the high amp HV over there. All right. Nope. That's also making hydrochloric acid. Well, if that's the case, then... Oh, no, wait. That was just me clicking on the wrong ones. So there we go. There's our 21 dimethyl dichlorosilane. And if we head back out from there, now it wants us to get that plus water. Ew, water? Really? That's all right. I can actually put the water into this guy once I have it. So let's just really quick go and do that. 21. There we go. That should complete that. And then it wants me to make 63 of that pulp. So let's go ahead and drop those in there. And it'll get used up as it goes. How do I want to deal with this? If I take a look at this in the LCR, if I just do that and water, oh, okay, that's easy enough. I'll just drop it into this guy for right now that I was planning on using for the PTFE. And that'll kick on, and we should come out, yeah, with a bunch of dimethyl siloxane pulp there. I have some acidic acid that I pulled out of this guy. I was talking about using one of these two to process water into distilled water, and the acidic acid was right here in this guy. So that's how I was dealing with acidic acid, or rather dealing with getting that guy started up. I did not get to the 1,000,000 liters that I originally thought I would. Instead, I got it up to, yeah, just past a third of that. It does take time. It does take a little while, and it's not even numbers, so it gets kind of annoying having to deal with it, but it is what it is. And there we go. There's 63. That's more than the 64 that it initially asks for. Excellent. And then lastly, it wants me to get that plus some sulfur, and we can make some silicon rubber. They want silicon rubber sheets. So let's go ahead and do this. Oh, let's go ahead and do 8 because I do have that extra one that I produced earlier. And so, let's see here. I wanted this guy to be that. So let's go ahead and right-click it. Good. Next fluid that gets put into it. There it goes. And there is my molten silicon rubber. Excellent. And then it expects me to do this. Oh, I love it. Oh, and I do have 2 extra. All right, grab it. Yep, there it goes. I was expecting it to do that. Oh, and then I am going to want, oh, you know what? I can do this the nice, easy way. I have, not right there. Oh, there it is, right there. This guy. And fluid solidifier. So I can slap that there. Push into there. Grab that. Take this one out. Oops, I want this one. Let's go ahead and put away my extra silver. My gold cable. Put away my hammer, the screwdriver for now, wrench for now. Put that guy back in there. All right, and then here we go. I don't think it'll burn me if I'm holding it. There we go. And now that will produce our silicon rubber sheets. Now, I do plan on either exporting the silicon rubber or doing something or other with it so that I can put it into a fluid solidifier and deal with it that way. But at least for right now, this is a good way of getting the silicon rubber. And of course, the silicon rubber I really wanted for bending into this stuff, and then this guy right here can go and let's see here, it can make not that one, this one right here. It can make the SMD capacitors at 1, so 1 silicon rubber plate plus 1 tantalum ingot can get me a full stack of SMD capacitors with 2 things of polyethylene. So that is a fantastic setup right there. Let's go ahead and grab those out. And I can put those guys away for now. And there we go. So there is my silicon rubber sheets. Oh, I never held on to the polydimethylsiloxane pulp. Okay, well, I guess that means I will need another, how many silicon is that? That was 21 silicon. I won't complain about making some more. That'll get me another 63 there. And yes, I am just voiding the, I'm practically voiding the hydrochloric and diluted hydrochloric acid simply because I don't have a lot of need for it right now. I might in the future, but at least for right now, this is working just the way I'd like it to. So we'll let this guy run, and that'll complete that last quest. And as you can see, it's the last one in that line, so I'm done with it once I get that done. But that is the first part of my LCR. The next part of it is I'm going to have these same things here, and I'm going to need to get some more chlorine here shortly. But the idea is that up next I can use this guy, put in hydrofluoric acid, and it will automatically output the tetrafluoroethylene into here, and then I can have that output into this input, and then it will mix with the oxygen that is back here and create polytetrafluoroethylene right out of this spot there. So that will be the next set of stuff that I am working on. And then, yeah, I'll have automated PTFE and automated silicon rubber. And the nice thing about that is that I can do it by just providing it with one material. So I don't have to worry about it constantly producing and voiding, simply because all I have to do is fill these inputs, and the only thing I won't fill is the silicon dust or the hydrofluoric acid, and then I can create it on demand. And then from there, I can do stuff like, I should be able to set this thing up automated with AE2. I can put a like an input and a pair of interfaces up over here, and then I can have the interface output to this. Actually, I may only need one interface, and then I can have it output here, unless it's the can, in which case I can just make it go up there, and then from there I can have these two guys solidify into plates and have them just drop in to that interface there, and then I never have to touch this, and it will work fantastically. So in any case, yeah, that's it for this. Again, I'm going to have to check the time. I'm guessing it's probably only about 15 minutes, maybe 20, so I might get a little bit more done and bring you guys back in once I have it. See you in a bit. All right, I just noticed how long this video has been going on for. So what I decided to do is, off camera, I decided to make up a ton of industrial TNT, and then I went ahead and made just this little bit compressed steel, the tier 1 heavy duty alloy, made the plate, just converted that just now to the tier 2 plate, and now going to go back over to this guy and get this thing compressed into its next form. 4 ITNT for this poor thing. Feels bad, man, feels bad. All right, so I need 2 more. And then to slap that guy in there. And there we go. There is the tier 2 plate. The last thing to do in terms of this quest here is, I believe I have to get one more thing. Oh, I don't have the IV circuit, and that is going to take me a bit to take care of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. I'm going to work on getting this IV circuit created, and then work on creating this guy right here. It just takes an HV circuit assembler in the clean room, and then those 3 different parts. So I will get that taken care of. It's going to take quite a bit of time. That's what is that? That's like 7 minutes, something like that. 7.5 minutes to craft this thing. And then from there I can start taking a look at recycling your rocket to save the environment, and we are going to progress down tier 2. I haven't done much more with the LCR over there. It turns out that I cannot do the PTFE in it. I can do TFE, but as soon as I have the oxygen and as soon as I put in the chipset 1 that would create the PTFE, the chlorine and methane want to mix into chloromethane, and I can't have that. So I've got an idea on what I'm going to do with it. It's likely going to involve me using only the 24 chip and a couple of extra chemical reactors and a solidifier, and basically I'm going to look at having it output the pulp, because I also found out that if you stick sulfur in there and you don't have any of the dimethylsiloxane pulp in there, it will try and use the sulfur to make sulfuric acid with the hydrogen and oxygen, or no, not hydrogen. it tries to do something and make something with the sulfur. So I was kind of avoiding that. Let me just double check that real quick. SULFUR. If we take the sulfur and we go to the chemical reactor, it mixes with, oh, that's a 2. I'm not worried about that one. I don't have hydrogen. There was something that I've got in here that I've mixed, that it's got, that I was worried about it making. That right there, the water and the oxygen making sulfuric acid. So if I have the sulfur in there and not the dimethylsiloxane, this circuit 24 will allow it to consume the water and oxygen and make sulfuric acid, which does me 0 good. So I've decided to go ahead and just make the pulp. I also want to make phosphoric acid, the TFE, just not the poly-TFE, and then nitric acid. All of those things can interact using a 24 without combining amongst themselves, and can then make full use of this thing. And then all I have to do is either walk over there and drop in hydrofluoric acid, ammonia, sulfur dust, or phosphorus dust, and I can get any of those processes started. The phosphoric acid, of course, is going to go into making isopropyl benzene, which then decombines into phenol and acetone, which will go into my epoxid making, and then from there I can have another LCR that will do epoxid. So essentially, if I drop in any amount of the phosphorus dust, it will run through the entire process and produce epoxid. And then the rest of the time, if I drop in, hydrofluoric acid, I get the TFE. If I drop in silicon dust, I get the pulp for making silicon rubber, and then if I drop in ammonia, I can get nitric acid, and so that will help alleviate some of my chemical balances there. So I look forward to getting that stuff set up. I'll probably do that off camera, along with getting 2 more of the LCRs set up, and those LCRs, like I say, isopropyl benzene to phenol and acetone, and then one entire one that will do the rest of the epoxid chain, and then that will get me the other parts of this EV tier here, getting those 2 things, getting into epoxid, and looking at the next set of chips. So I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Till then.